the virus attack on the number of the Ukrainian companies, state enterprises, and also not just in Ukraine have taken place, but really, can you explain what that was? It was everywhere in the news. There are of course, we're still counting the damage.
Apparently on the 27th of June, there was a malicious update to a piece of software which is popular in Ukraine and which is called MeDoc. It has something to do with financial reporting, I guess. So anyway, a lot of people got an update for that piece of software, which happened to be a piece of malware, and which spread across networks and encrypted information on a bunch of computers. And when I say bunch, I mean thousands of tens of thousands. This is huge. I don't know how much money people and companies have lost. It will probably take some time to count the damage. And then a lot of companies will be incentivized to say it's bigger than it actually was. And then a lot of people and companies would be incentivized to cover up the damage and say there was none. But still, this is something like really important on a global scale, because it's in the news on many IT-related websites and online places which never report on Ukraine otherwise.
Of course, when we speak about Ukraine and something happening of that scale, the Russia pops up.
We really don't. Attack attribution is a real job. There are people who can do it really well. It usually takes them time to figure out whether there is sufficient evidence that a particular threat actor has done that. So far, I have not seen anything convincing. A lot of times, government agencies are hit harder than businesses because they're protected worse, because governments spend less money protecting themselves on the cyber front than businesses. Until we have real factual evidence about the attribution of the attack, we simply don't know.
In your experience, how long might take, and what were the cases and precedents where the attribution had been?
It usually takes weeks to months. It really depends on the political interest of a particular government, but it usually takes, I would say, weeks or a month or maybe several months. But so far, they've only come to some basic factual conclusions, like how does the malware actually spread, or what kind of systems it actually infects, but not the attribution part.
What was new for you?
For me, what was actually, like, the attack itself on a technical level is nothing new technologically. However, every attack like that has a bigger and bigger scale in terms of impact on economy and on life. What was new for me is we're already in a place where a computer problem can stop commerce or travel or interfere with governments, which was not the case 10 years ago.
Is there any special about Ukraine being so unsecure, so kind of not prepared for that? Or what would be your experience?
There's actually nothing special about Ukraine as a country. It was a clever attack. It spread through a method that mostly worked in Ukraine, and so Ukraine suffered the most. If a different method was used, I would guess almost any other country in this region would probably not do much better.
Another method about this kind of the way how genius could be the hackers from the post-Soviet space. Like all the political discussion is about Russian hacks, about people coming from this region. If we don't speak particularly about this attack, is it the case? Do we really, seen that there is something special taking place in the post-Soviet world?
The post-Soviet region, the former Soviet Union, has a lot of really intelligent people, and those people are often paid very little, and so there is incentive for them to look for alternative ways of making money. I am not really convinced that ex-Soviet hackers are any better than German, Romanian, British, American, Chinese, or any other kind of hackers. However, people keep telling themselves and other people that story. This is human nature. But it is true that there is a huge hacker underground, including an extensive criminal underground in this region, including Ukraine. But that has to do with low living standards and the ability to do bad stuff and go unpunished, because the legal system may not work very well in a particular case involving computer crime.
Finally, and then can we speak about the specific of the hackers' cooperation with the security services, with intelligence?
IT people, like people representing other professions, routinely work with intelligence services. Sometimes the way it works, the way IT blogs and books describe that, somebody would do something wrong, and then he's approached by either law enforcement or intelligence, and then made an offer which he or she cannot refuse. But this is not specific to an ex-Soviet region. Reportedly, it works like that everywhere. The government is looking for talented IT people. Talented IT people usually want a lot of money, which the government cannot afford to pay them. So unless there's a hook, unless something wrong and then they have to cooperate, I would say that governments everywhere are desperately looking for talent.
Is there any specific of the hackers' cooperation in the dictatorship?
A lot of countries which are not usually associated with democracy, think some countries in Central Asia, still can buy hacking technology and equipment in the open market, because there is an open and legal market, and use it against their citizens, or against the enemies, or against this has become a commercial market. It's a part of modern capitalism, like hacking and surveillance technology and censorship and censorship technology is as much a part of modern capitalism as banking or industry or insurance.